Secret weapon revealed? Have the Buffalo Bills quietly added a game-changing piece to their defense that nobody is talking about? While most of the National Football League is focused on big-name trades and flashy signings, Buffalo may have slipped in a hidden gem who could make a massive impact. With stars already in place and an offense led by Josh Allen, this new defensive weapon could be the difference maker in tight games.
But here's the twist. It's not just about talent. It's about how this player fits into the system. Could this be the move that elevates the Bills to elite status? Stay tuned.
Buffalo Bills have a new secret weapon added to the defense. And if you're a fan of opposing offenses, you might want to look away right now, because what's happening in Buffalo is starting to feel dangerous, and not just playoff contender dangerous. We're talking about something that could completely reshape the identity of this defense going into the season. So let's break this down, because at first glance, it might not look like a massive headline move. It might not be the kind of blockbuster trade that instantly dominates every sports show. But when you really dig into it, when you really understand what this addition brings, you start to realize why people inside the organization are quietly calling this a game changer. The Buffalo Bills have been known for having a disciplined, structured, and highly intelligent defense over the past few seasons. Built around smart play calling, strong fundamentals, and players who understand their roles, this unit has consistently ranked among the better defenses in the league. But there's always been one lingering question. Where is that unpredictable element? Where is that one piece that offenses can't prepare for, that forces quarterbacks to hesitate, that creates chaos? Well, that's exactly where this new secret weapon comes in. This addition isn't just about talent, it's about versatility. It's about having a player who can line up in multiple spots, who can disguise intentions before the snap, and who can completely disrupt the rhythm of an offense without needing to rack up flashy stats every single game. And that's what makes this so dangerous. Because when you add a player like this into an already structured defensive system, you're not just adding another body, you're adding confusion, you're adding pressure, and you're adding a level of unpredictability that can completely shift how opposing teams game plan against you. Think about it like this. Offensive coordinators spend hours studying film. They look for patterns, tendencies, weaknesses, anything they can exploit. But when you introduce a player who doesn't follow a predictable pattern, who can drop into coverage one play, blitz the next, and then shadow a receiver on the following snap, now you've got a problem. Now the offense has to second-guess everything. And that hesitation, that split-second delay, that's all it takes in the NFL.
That's how turnovers happen.
That's how drives stall. That's how games are won. And the Bills know it. What's even more interesting is how quietly this move came together. There wasn't a huge media frenzy, no dramatic leaks, no endless speculation leading up to it. It just happened. And sometimes those are the moves that end up having the biggest impact. Because while everyone else is focused on the big-name signings, the flashy trades, the headline-grabbing moves, Buffalo might have just slipped something into their system that no one fully saw coming. And inside that locker room, you can already feel the excitement building. Players are talking about it. Coaches are hinting at it. There's a sense that something different is brewing. And when you listen closely, you start to hear the same word being used over and over again. Flexible. That's the key.
This defense is evolving from being just solid to being adaptable, to being unpredictable, to being dangerous.
Now let's talk about what this actually means on the field. Imagine a third and long situation. The offense is expecting a traditional pass rush, maybe a four-man front, maybe a blitz package they've seen on tape before. But instead, this new weapon shifts pre-snap, moves into a different alignment, and suddenly the quarterback isn't sure where the pressure is coming from. Do you step up in the pocket?
Do you roll out? Do you check it down?
That moment of uncertainty is everything.
Because while the quarterback is thinking, the defense is attacking.
And this is where Buffalo can really take things to the next level. Because they already have the foundation. They already have the system. Now they're adding a layer that makes everything harder to read, harder to predict, and harder to stop. And let's be real for a second. In today's NFL, where offenses are faster, smarter, and more explosive than ever, defenses need more than just talent. They need creativity. They need deception. They need players who can do more than one thing. And that's exactly what this secret weapon brings to the table. But here's the part that should really get Bills fans excited. This isn't just about one player making a few big plays.
This is about how that player elevates everyone else around him.
When you have someone who can create pressure without needing a full blitz, it frees up other defenders to stay in coverage. When you have someone who can drop back unexpectedly, it takes away quick throws and easy completions. When you have someone who can read plays and react instantly, it tightens up the entire defense.
It's a ripple effect.
And that ripple effect can turn a good defense into a great one, and a great defense into a championship-caliber unit. Now, does this guarantee success?
Of course not.
Nothing in the NFL is guaranteed. There are still questions that need to be answered. How quickly will this player fully integrate into the system? How will opposing teams adjust once they start seeing this on film? Can the Bills maintain consistency while adding this new layer to their defense? Those are all fair questions. But what we do know is that the potential is there. And sometimes that's all you need. Because in a league where margins are razor thin, where games are decided by a handful of plays, having that one extra advantage, that one unexpected element, can be the difference between a playoff run and a Super Bowl run. And let's not ignore the timing of this move either. The AFC is loaded. Every team is looking for an edge. Every contender is trying to outmaneuver the others. And in that kind of environment, standing still is not an option. You have to evolve. You have to adapt. You have to find new ways to win. And it looks like Buffalo just did exactly that. Quietly. Strategically. And potentially brilliantly. Because while other teams are preparing for the Bills based on what they've seen in the past, Buffalo might be preparing to show them something completely different. Something they're not ready for. Something they can't fully prepare for. And that's what makes this so exciting. That's what makes this feel like more than just another roster move. This feels like a shift. A change in identity. A step toward becoming not just a strong defensive team, but a feared one. And if this secret weapon lives up to the hype, if the coaching staff uses him the way they're hinting at, if everything clicks the way it has the potential to, then don't be surprised if we start seeing opposing quarterbacks looking uncomfortable, making mistakes, forcing throws, and walking off the field frustrated. Because that's what happens when a defense gets inside your head. And that's exactly what Buffalo might be building right now. So keep your eyes on this. Watch how this player is used in early games. Pay attention to the subtle changes in alignment, in play calling, in how the defense reacts to different situations. Because the impact might not always show up on the stat sheet, but it will show up in the results. It will show up in stalled drives. It will show up in turnovers. It will show up in wins. And by the time the rest of the league fully realizes what Buffalo has added to their defense, it might already be too late. Because the Bills won't just have a defense that's solid. They'll have a defense that's unpredictable. A defense that's aggressive. A defense that's evolving. And now, a defense with a secret weapon